Hi, I'm Bob Henrickson with the Nebraska Statewide Arboretum, and I'm here in Lincoln's newest public garden, located just across the street from the popular Finke Gardens and in between Lincoln Children's Zoo. This is the newest garden called the Rotary Strolling Garden, and this is only its second season, but it's already become a popular destination as Lincoln's newest garden. And I'm here with Luann Finke of Finke Gardens, and Luann is generous enough, and Finke Gardens is generous enough to donate a lot of the shrub roses for this garden, among a number of perennials as well. And there's an event you guys are hosting and sponsoring coming up here in the near future that recognizes this garden. Tell our viewers about that event.
It's September 8th, the Tuesday after Labor Day, and we'll be here at 6:30 in the evening. There's no pre-registration required for it, and landscape designers and horticulturists from Finke Gardens in the city will be here to help answer the questions and give people ideas as to how your garden can be designed and how it can work in your home landscape.
Okay, so very good. You know, there's lots of plants to choose from in the gardening world, and roses are no exception. And oftentimes when we plant a rose garden, it can become kind of overwhelming trying to decide what to combine with them. So this garden was designed to showcase what can be used with roses, correct?
That's right, Bob. Roses are sometimes intimidating to people. They think of hybrid teas and all the care that takes to control insects and other pests and the overwintering concerns with hybrid teas. And in this garden, on the other hand, they're hardy landscape roses that can perform well in an ordinary landscape without a lot of exceptional care. As we move into our home landscapes, it's important that we see a more integrated approach with the perennials and the ornamental grasses and other flowering shrubs, so that truly can be a low-maintenance landscape endeavor instead of something that's a problem for you year after year. Here in the garden, you'll see a great contrast of colors and textures and forms, and it's a learning opportunity for people to see what works and what they like, and to be able to take the ideas home with them.
Well, we invite you to stroll through the garden here, and we're going to do just that in just a second. And we can thank Finke Gardens and the Lincoln Parks Department for putting this garden together. Luann, along with folks like Mark Canny and Steve Nozzle, Alice Reed, Steve Harris, are all responsible for this wonderful park, as are the citizens of Lincoln. So we encourage you to come down here and visit. We're going to take a stroll through the garden and look at some wonderful plant combinations as the waning days and weeks of summer. And there's a lot of color still in the garden as we venture into fall, so let's walk around and see if we can spot some.
At the entrance to the Strolling Garden, we see a classic combination of shrub roses with the perennials that we're used to combining with those roses. It is a pink gnome rose, which is part of the Easy Elegance series that's available at nurseries throughout the state. At the foreground is our Big Ears lamb's ear, a great perennial that's a nice silver frontage to our perennial garden. And then we move on to a darker salvia, which blooms heavily in the early summer, and then we do get rebloom from it. This particular one is Caradona, and its backdrop then with Russian sage, a real long-time favorite in our perennial gardens. A great color combination that's very subtle. We have delicate textures here, and this is something that works very well in a small-scale garden. As compared to, as we move through the garden, we end up at the back of the garden with a very dramatic, bold color combination with rugosa roses and very large-scale perennials. As we stroll all the way back to the east side of the Strolling Garden, we see a different scale of perennial combinations for the roses. Here we have something that's very much monochromatic. White is the prominent color here. The interest in the garden comes from not variation of color, but rather in the form and the textures of the plants. So a very strong linear northwind switchgrass with an upfront fine texture of the Amsonia and a white tall sedum, and then on each side of it we have the white coming through with the butterfly bush and the variegated fleece flower. Combine this with some of our white rugosa roses, and we have a great strong perennial combination that works for very large spaces.
Well, Luann, thank you so much for coming and showing us the plant combinations here in Lincoln's newest public garden, the Rotary Strolling Garden. We appreciate the time.
I'm glad to be here. There are a lot of good home run plants here, combinations that we can see from this home run rose as it's working with the Baptisia or Blue False Indigo. Many of the plants are introductions from the Nebraska Statewide Arboretum, and we appreciate that we have such a wide palette of plants to use. The wildflowers are working well with our cultivated garden plants and making a great display for everyone to learn from here at the Strolling Garden.
Well, that's great news to hear, and you can see lots of exciting plant combinations both here at the Lincoln's newest public garden, the Rotary Strolling Garden, as well as a number of affiliated garden sites throughout the state that are affiliated with the Statewide Arboretum. For more information where those gardens are located, I encourage you to visit our website at arboretum.unl.edu, or information about the upcoming event here on September 8th with a tour of the Rotary Garden. Go to finkegardens.com and you'll find out information about that wonderful event.
And we welcome everyone to be there.
Thanks again for coming, and we'll see you next time in the garden.